The journey of Natty Gann is largely a forgotten movie today, unfairly so. We first meet Natty Gann smoking in the boys' room in Chicago, where she beats the tar out of a guy for calling her father a commie, a word she doesn't even seem to know. Right off the bat, Natty is established as a troublemaker who, like her father, fights for whatever she believes in, but she hasn't quite worked out what that is just yet.
Don't let the bulls get you.
The what?
Railroad cop.
Think I don't know that.
She is cocky, defensive, and cute as a button, much like her father, Saul. Saul is a labor activist in the midst of the Great Depression, which of course in the movies is code for Jewish. The ethnic subtext is no surprise coming from director Jeremy Kagan, the son of a rabbi who also gave us The Chosen and Golda's Balcony. But it's really just one wrinkle in a picaresque movie that wants to show off as many sides of American life as humanly possible during Natty's trek from Chicago to Washington. Along the way, Natty meets some really nasty characters, as well as some real gems. A pack of orphan thieves, a lecherous businessman, a sharp-tongued pencil pusher, but she also comes across a terrifying yet sweet blacksmith, an idyllic family expecting their first child, and that pencil pusher who turns out to be a huge help in reuniting Natty with her missing father. Oh, and then there's John Cusack. Cusack plays his usual charming and sad sack self here, and his very presence as the reigning king of 80s rom-coms hints that love might be in the cards between him and Meredith Salenger's Natty. Now thankfully that's downplayed, Salenger being only 15 at the time of this movie, and Cusack a babyface 20. It's maybe unfair for Cusack's presence to overshadow this film, but a modern viewer will somehow need to divorce the 1930s setting from the 1980s production somehow. Meredith Salenger, I have to say, owns this film, delivering an impressively adult performance for a teenager, one which I don't feel her subsequent career ever really did justice to. I mean, she got a shout-out 24 years later in the remake of Escape to Witch Mountain, in which she cameos as a reporter named Natalie Gann. She did a series of cheesy romantic roles at age 18 before wisely quitting Hollywood for a degree at Harvard. I won't fault her talent in those roles, but I would question her agent, who got her into the seriously weird Dream a Little Dream starring the two Coreys, a Freaky Friday-style rom-com where Jason Robards has to learn Michael Jackson's dance moves to win Meredith Salenger's heart. It's utterly bizarre. Anyhow, back in the Great Depression, John Cusack teaches Natty the ropes of riding the rails and becomes her dearest companion, with the exception of a wolf, which may be the thing that this movie is best remembered for. Natty Gann rescues the wolf from a dogfighting ring and forms with it a beautiful if unlikely partnership. She refers to the wolf as being with me. She never turns it into a pet. Thankfully, she never names it. One basic rule of movie making is that if you name an animal, it's gonna die. Take, as an example, the mountain horse in The Man from Snowy River 1 and 2. In the first film, it has no name, and it saves the day. In the sequel, its owner names it,
Come on, Ben. I need you for this one.
and sure enough, the poor horse gets shot. Now, I'm no expert on wolves, but this relationship does seem more like fantasy than a probable reality. But it is the spark of movie magic that makes the journey of Natty Gann so memorable. The other standout role which must be mentioned is the utterly charming Scatman Crothers, in his second Disney role after his scene-stealing, nay, movie-stealing role in The Aristocats. Crothers was the kind of actor who elevated any project he was in, from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or even direct like Zapped with Scott Baio. Crothers sternly warns Natty against riding the rails to find her father, describing the violence and danger inherent in traveling as a hobo. As she embarks on her cross-country trek, more is told than shown of these horrors, keeping things at a comfortable PG despite the occasional cuss word. She does almost lose her legs the first time she hops a freight car, just as Crothers had warned her, and at times the life seems idyllic with sweeping vistas and playful adventures. America has always had a romantic vision of the open road, whether that's Jack Kerouac or John Steinbeck or Mark Twain. As Tom Waits once crooned,
"Some men are searching for the Holy Grail, but there ain't nothing sweeter than riding the rail."
On the other hand, there's the constant scramble for edible food, tramping through the rain, surviving a train wreck. Natty has thrown herself into the void for this adventure, again a way in which she resembles her father. Believing that Natty has died on her way to find him, Saul takes suicidal risks. The movie's most memorable shot has him perched atop a tree at a lumber site, hundreds of feet above the forest floor. It calls to mind the iconic photo Lunch Atop a Skyscraper, contrasting a desperate need for work with the casual risks taken to keep it during the Depression. And yes, I know that photo was a publicity stunt, but it wouldn't have resonated if it didn't feel a little true. The father of Cusack's character, for example, was trampled to death trying to get a job, and Saul, for all his charisma and intelligence, is treated like a sack of meat.
You, and you. Come here. Oh, yeah. And you.
In 1986, Disney was still struggling to find its place in the industry and was reeling from aggressive takeover bids. Some production values are carefully reined in this film, a trend I'd say goes for a lot of mainstream films in the era. But the journey of Natty Gann has an ace in the hole in the shape of James Horner, whose sweeping old-school scores could salvage any film as fast as you can say John Williams. His scores sweep my heart into the action, even in movies I dislike. I know critics accuse Horner of exemplifying the principle that talent borrows, genius steals, but that phrase appropriately has been attributed to and adopted by Oscar Wilde, T.S. Eliot, Pablo Picasso, Steve Jobs, and even more. And I just can't stay mad at Horner when he's making me choke up. And that's maybe Natty Gann's biggest asset. It is an unapologetic tearjerker, and it jerks tears aplenty. No sooner do you think that things are darkest than some angel shows up to promise hope, and no sooner does Natty find comfort than heartbreak follows. This movie could have been a preachy history lesson, or a treacly melodrama. Maybe it leans towards the latter, but it certainly doesn't shy away from making me weep, sadly or happily.